child, you would wait and watch from far away. But you always knew that you'd be the one that would find you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. From the from the
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. It's probably a solo night for me tonight. Beverly has the night off. She has some family stuff to attend to. Big homie might be dropping it in, but I know he's got some stuff that he needs to be taken care of. But do not worry. And I've just realized that I've spelled awareness in the title of this live stream wrong. But hey, that's how we roll. So tonight we're diving in to a pretty outrageous topic, and this is definitely an awareness episode for all of you parents out there, any of you that have got nieces, nephews, cousins, you know, anyone that you know with children that need protected. And it's an interesting one because this entire subject is the very first documentary I ever made was on this topic. And you know, that documentary got lost to the shadow realm a long time ago. And I found a couple of old computers after I moved house. I found my old hard drives in them, and I've managed to find that old documentary. So I think I'll try and re-release it. The occult documentary is basically done. It's just a matter of playing through, uploading, making sure it gets greenlit, and pending any changes. That should be out this week. We have still got anyone who is looking for any information such as this. You can find it on the website as per normal. And we'll get into tonight's show. Now, honestly, first of all, right? We're going to have a quick delve into a case that just happened in a school round the corner from me. Okay. Like if we walked outside now and, lit a cigarette, we'd still be smoking the cigarette at the time we got there. Right. And it's one thing, right, when we talk about our at-risk teenagers, right? High school, right? You kind of expect craziness to be going on there because of the age of the kids, a lot more technology, a lot more access, a lot more yip at parents to give them freedoms and all the rest of it. But this story that we're going to start off with, this is from Gilmerton Primary School. Primary school. Okay. And I'll show you the headline. So this young girl was tricked at 8 years old into sending pictures of herself to who she thought was one of her classmates. Just let this sink in. An 8-year-old with a Snapchat account. Lisa, I will. Like, we're not here to pass judgment on anyone. We're here to learn. All right. So, schoolgirl 8, victim of, we're just going to call this extortion by person pretending to be primary school pupil. A person has been impersonating pupils from Gilmerton Primary School in Edinburgh on Snapchat. 8 years old. An 8-year-old primary school pupil of Edinburgh has been a victim of extortion. Parents of Gilmerton Primary School have been warned that a person has been impersonating pupils on social media platforms, Snapchat. The head teacher has written to the families and urged them to check their children's social media and to screenshot, block, and report any suspicious accounts. The girl's mother said she wanted to make others aware of what had been going on. It's understood that the child was contacted by a personal device while at home. Police Scotland confirmed officers were investigating reports of indecent images being shared online. So, understood that the girl was contacted on her personal device while at home. She's 8. She's 8. Excuse me. Alette Bauer, head teacher of Gilmerton, said, Dear Gilmerton families, I'm writing to inform you that we are aware of an ongoing situation with regards to a person impersonating pupils in the social media, specifically Snapchat. We are working very close with our colleagues from the Child Protection Team with Police Scotland on this matter. Please do check all of your children's social media accounts, screenshots, block any reported accounts, report this to the police. We are also more than happy to answer any questions and will signpost families to information about online safety. Councillor Joan Griffin's Education to Children and Families said, I'm shocked and extremely upset to hear that a child has been subjected to this and disgusted that anyone could be capable of such a thing. Like, why are you pretending like you're surprised? Like, what do you mean? And disgusted that anyone could be capable of such things. I hope whoever is responsible is caught quickly and feels the full force of the law. Wow, what a statement, mate. I mean, I'm so glad that you graced us with that wisdom. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to run to the fridge. Just give me 1 second, everybody. If you could give me a like and a share, that would be great as well. My jeez. 1 second. Right. Right. All right. Yeah. All right. Excuse me, and thank you for that. Oh God, Jesus Christ. All right. We are offering our full support to the child and their family while reminding all parents to remain vigilant to help keep their children safe online. If you have any cause for concern, please contact Police Scotland immediately. A Snapchat spokesperson said any exploitation of young people is horrific and illegal, and our hearts go out to the victims in this case. If we were made aware of such activity, whether through proactive detection efforts or confidential in-app reporting tools, we remove it, lock the violating account, and report it to authorities. Great. It's almost like if there was a company in the world, right? If there was a company in the world that you would expect to have AI that can scan an image and tell you what's in it, it would be the leading face filter. I mean, if you think back to when Snapchat first came out and what filters were like the first generation of these apps, and now have a look where Snapchat is. It is mind-boggling what the algorithm is for reading what is in that video, pinpointing areas of the face, all the rest of it. So 2G phones, yeah, right. The old now listen, your children are more than able to have devices in the home, right? That they can sit and use in the comfort of their room in private. And as long as you set them up for their age group, Google, right? Google, they'll pretty much safeguard a lot of stuff. You know, like my kids' tablets, for example. The worst thing you can do is hand a child a tablet that has been set up for an adult, i.e., it's your Google email. You have to make a Google email for your child with their birthday, the proper age and everything. And then you set up your tablet with that Google account. It then prompts you that this is a child and it will need to be linked to an adult's account. You then download the Google Family app, you link it, and your child can do nothing on that tablet. Nothing. Okay? If you want to set it so they can do nothing without you approving it, that's what you do. Now, if you were to give something like this to a 15-year-old or maybe a 14, maybe a 13, 14, 15-year-old, I'm sure they would figure out some workarounds. Okay? But a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old who just wants to like look at some stuff moving around or like slap some fruit, whatever, it's pretty. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Exactly. There you go. All free, I might add. Very much free. Okay. So it's crazy when you go from handing a kid your tablet and you're like, oh my god, just stay in the app. Don't open the photos. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of them. And as long as your device is set up for the age that it's being used, it is pretty safe. I will be honest with you. Right. Anyway, so Snapchat is for people aged 13 and over. We have extra safeguards in place to prevent strangers from being able to easily find and search for teens. Our family center also lets parents see who their teens is friends with and talking to on Snapchat. Police Scotland spokesman said an investigation is underway. We've received several reports in February relating to the incident of images being shared on an online platform in Edinburgh. Inquiries are ongoing and we're working closely with a number of agencies. Now, I think a lot of us are like, well, how could all of this happen? And I'm not no. Like it just seems like an 8-year-old taking pictures of themselves and all of this. And it's like, as parents, we kind of can't fathom how this has happened. But let's hear it from the mother here. Yeah, my 15-year-old is linked to me via Google Family. Yeah. Correct. Correct, correct. Yeah, like and share, everybody, if you can. Thank you, KOG. Well, here's the thing, right? Do you supervise your 8-year-old when they go to the bathroom? Like, if your kid's sitting on their tablet and then they go to the bathroom, are you paying that much attention to that action? Not really. So, and then there's bedtime. You know, there's a lot of times where you can be an incredible parent and these things fly under the radar. So here is, I imagine this is the mum. Mum is now scared to let her daughter leave the house alone or even walk to school. The mum has spoken of her horror after the 8-year-old daughter was targeted in Snapchat's extortion plot. The girl is one of a group of young victims who attend Gilmerton Primary School in Edinburgh. The child, who we have chosen not to name, was coerced into sending nude images of herself to sick fiend who posed as a fellow school pupil. 8. Police Scotland has confirmed that it received a number of reports. The distressed mum of 2 told the Record she learned of the situation after the school's head teacher called her on February 19th. She said, she told me some pupils had been sent pictures and videos of my little girl. She said that she couldn't go into details about what these images showed on the phone because they were so graphic and my stomach dropped. That is the literal thing of nightmares. Literal thing of nightmares. The frantic parent rushed to the school. Oh my God. I think I know who that is. That's crazy. The frantic parent rushed to the school where she was given the disturbing news and was past her daughter's confiscating phone. But it was when she was on her way home with her daughter that she discovered the extent of the disturbing details. The mum added, after we left the school, she stopped and looked at me and just burst out crying. She said, "Mummy, I need to tell you something," and then admitted that she had sent a video on Snapchat. So I wonder if the images were still images from the video, and it was maybe one video she was tricked into sending. She said this person, who she thought was another pupil, said to her, "If you don't send me nude videos or pictures, I'll hack your phone and leak everything." What could an 8-year-old have to be leaked? But you know, at this age, you're still putting your teeth under your pillow. At this age, Santa's still coming every year. Yeah, no, I get you. I agree, right? And here's the thing. Uh Kids can have phones that are just phones, okay? Burners, okay? Burner phones, okay? So that you've got a point of contact, but give them with Snake in there, they'll love it. But we can't withhold technology from kids. Like, there's a lot of good that can come from interacting with technology. But man, having an 8-year-old with their own phone, tablet, sure, that's locked down completely. Nintendo Switch, you know, these are things that are just parts of kids' worlds. She is so young, and I think what she was being asked to do just went over her head completely. She should never have been able to understand that pictures would go public and a lot of people would see them. That's so true. She was terrified that she would get into trouble and didn't want to tell me. It's heartbreaking, man. I wish she had been able to understand how serious it was. All I could do was hug her and tell her everything was going to be okay while I held back the tears. The mom said that other children in the school had also had The mum said other children in the school had also had explicit images of them shared online after being targeted by the creep. She added, one of her best friends told her mum it happened to her, and they also called the police. I know there was more than one other report, but I don't know how many. When we got home, I phoned the police. They came out right away, and we were interviewed, and they seized some of our devices, including my daughter's phone. That's crazy, man. Like, that is crazy. Like, that is literally my back garden. Gilmerton Primary School was contacted the parents about the incident 2 days. The Gilmerton Primary School contacted parents about the incident 2 days later. An email sent by the Daily Record read, "Dear Gilmerton families, I'm right to phone." Yeah, okay, that we know that. Yeah. We've read all this as well. The mum who was unaware her daughter used Snapchat to speak to friends and relatives before the incident is now being terrified of hidden predators. Now, ladies and gentlemen who know how the Google Family app works, could she have not known? Would there have been any safeguards in place through the Google Family app? Yes, because you would not have been able to download that app being 8 years old. You would not have even been given an option to download that app at 8 years old. So it's a shame that such a simple safeguard that this poor mother clearly never knew about. And listen, it's really easy to sit here and judge, okay? But that you gotta wipe that mindset, because this right here, this right here, every single one of you watching has the same vulnerability in one way, shape, or form. Okay. We all like to think that there isn't one, but trust me, whether it's a tablet, whether it's you as a parent being lured into a relationship so that someone can have access to your kids, whether it's not understanding who teaches at your schools or who teaches at your after school clubs or interacts with your children on their walks home, you just it's one of those. There's always weak points in every set of parental armor, regardless of how safe you think your kids are. And I hate to be the boogeyman, but it's true. It's real true. So this poor mum, it's a parent's worst nightmare. I'm now scared to let her out to play or go to school, and I'm constantly worrying. I want to keep her beside me at all times. I'm angry and disgusted, and just thinking about what goes through someone's mind to target young children like this to make them feel so vulnerable and unsafe. I'm speaking out because I don't want this to happen to anyone else. I mean, just try and imagine receiving that message from your kid's school. Yeah. Yeah. Women can be used as bait. Yeah. In fact, you just got to look at the Moors murders, Moors unaliving case, to know just how effective throughout time women have been. For that, you've got to look at No Limits Fun and what happened to that poor little girl Daisy and her sisters at the hands of a lunatic. Women lured them in. It's crazy. All right, where are we? We're here. Okay, so oopsie daisies. We know that this is a real thing. All right. And this isn't like a new thing. Online blackmail and the blackmail of teenagers is what brought me to the dark web in the first place. Pink Meth used to be a website that specialized in hacking the PCs or the devices of teenagers, teenage girls usually, catching them in a compromising situation. You know, maybe they're getting changed for school whilst listening to music. Maybe they're listening to music on their phone and they've got it propped up in the bathroom when they come out the shower. Then they're contacted with these pictures of themselves and they're told, hey, listen, you're going to basically do as I say. I'm going to tell every one of your friends about it. Then what they'll do on Pink Meth is they will put every single name of these girls' families, all of their families' addresses, their social medias, their work numbers, all of her social media, all of her friends, and then put all of the compromising images and media of these girls that they'd that they'd made them make, put them into zip files so people could download them. But then anyone was then able to then recontact these girls and continue the blackmail because all of the contact information was made public, all of the family's information was made public, and this went on for a long time. And then there was another site, I can't remember what it was called, Dark something. But you can imagine these girls have all their information out. And sure, there's some fairly vanilla monsters out there. Okay. I don't know how else to put it. But then you've got some real twisted, horrific monsters. And these young girls had to do just twisted things. And it led to a lot of people unaliving themselves. There was a couple of cases in Scotland, a couple of young men, one in Fife. Ended up unaliving themselves because they were duped into slapping the salami, shall we say, on Skype calls. And then they were recorded and told to be blackmailed. And it just like the thought of one of your children unaliving themselves over shame. You would never I mean, you don't get over the death of a child anyway. You just learn to live with it. But that would haunt you forever. Oh yeah, they're listening to everything, one on one. Now, anyway, let's have a look at some organized crime, shall we? Let's have a look into the face of these monsters. And we're going to start off with a little bit more of a palatable one before we jump into 764, because that is the thing of nightmares. And when we look at extortion, right? There is literal call centers, right? In some other countries, that this is big business. It's big business, baby. Hang on a second. There we go. They killed our son. The devastating impact of extortion scams and cases soar. Maury Downey, a 16-year-old from Dunblane, unalived himself because of a scammer. Like, this was just last year. Last year. Yeah, April last year. Hang on a second. This isn't even the case I was thinking about. There he is. This guy. This is the guy. 2013. Teenager death sparks cyber blackmailing probe. This is before we even had a word for it. Police in Fife are investigating claims that a 17-year-old boy who unalived himself because he was being blackmailed on the internet. It is thought that Daniel Perry had become involved in a scam where victims are befriended and tricked into making explicit webcam recordings. You can't fathom. It's too much. Okay, so here we go. Let's stare into the eyes of the devil, shall we? Abuse terror warning as what are we going to use for that? Occultist teenager jailed. We'll just have to go with that because I can't think of another word right now. The teenager involved in what police have described as a terror network targeting children online for blackmail and violence has been jailed for 6 years by the Old Bailey. Cameron Finnegan pleaded guilty to encouraging, unaliving, possessing a terrorism manual, and indecent images of children. The court heard that the 19-year-old from Horsham was part of an extreme right-wing group called 764, which anti-terror police warn poses an immense threat. At least 4 British teenagers have been arrested in connection with the activities of the group, which has blackmailed children, many girls, into carrying out horrible acts, harming themselves, or even attempting to unalive themselves. Warning: this article contains distressing content. At a previous hearing, Finnegan admitting 5 charges, and he has now been given a 6-year sentence with an extended 3-year license period. Mr. Justice J said, I'm sorry, is that his lawyer? That is a name. Mr. Justice J said he'd posed a high risk of serious harm to the public. Finnegan was arrested in March 2024 after police received information that he had a pew-pew. No pew-pew was found in his home, but after analyzing his digital devices, officers found online chats where he encouraged young females they believed to be in Italy to live stream their own unaliving. Officers have been unable to identify this woman and did not know what happened to her. In online chats, Finnegan boasted to other members of 764 about his attempts to get children to hurt themselves. Claire Finney, head of the counter-terrorism policing Southeast, says the members competed to see who was the most extreme. And if you can get someone to self-harm, you're doing quite well in that group. If you can get them to unalive themselves, you're reaching the pinnacle. Just for the lols, guys. Don't worry though. They're just having a laugh, guys. Right? It's just a laugh.
And this guy was concerned about is if she went through with it and I got caught.
So you're concerned about, the only thing you're concerned about is if she went through with it and you got caught. Not about whether she was dead or not.
I don't think about stuff in that moment. It's just stupid, I say, without thinking.
The dangers of the incels are real. An 11-page PDF document was also found on Finnegan's computer, giving detailed instructions how to carry out a mass casualty attack using a lorry, firearms, or knives. And on the Telegram message, oh, love it, eh? You gotta love it. Like, I'll be honest with you. You want to talk about the dark web? You want to talk about the real scary places of the world? You're looking at it right there. Every single mass group that has caused organized crime that I've reported on for the last 6 years has ended up finishing off in Telegram. And listen, that's not Telegram's fault. There's no, I mean, I'm pretty sure their CEO just, wasn't arrested in Russia. He was, though. Okay. On the Telegram messaging platform, he had other members plotted what they called Terror Week. He told the group he planned to unalive a homeless man living in a tent near his home and post pictures of the location. I won't stop until he is unalived, he wrote online. See, that's an interesting one, Kiwi, right? Let me put this, let me ask you a question. Put the one in the side chat and be honest, okay? No one's going to be judged here. Put a one in the side chat if you've ever said something online or behind somebody's back that you never said to their face. Right? I think we've all done something like that before, right? So, put a one in the side chat if you think it's easier to say something outrageous behind an anonymous social media account compared to saying that outrageous thing to someone's face. Put a one in the side chat if you think it's easier to do that, okay? I think we can all probably agree there. So let's do like our 10 pence psychology on this, all right? So there is a certain psychological diminishment when we do something online and there's no human contact. So I wonder if this gentleman that we just seen there, if we stuck him in a room with another human being and said, you don't get to leave here until you've convinced that person to unalive themselves. I don't think they have I don't think they'd have it in them. I really, really don't. There is this weird detachment that comes with the internet. And imagine you are a lonely, vulnerable teenager, right? You've never had a girlfriend. Your socks are like snappable pieces of cardboard under your bed. You hate the world. Okay. And along comes a group. Along comes a group, guys, right? That shows you how you can get back at the world, right? Make you feel like you're part of something. And listen, you don't have to worry about it because it's all online. And then a few months go by. And you're desensitized now to all the internet stuff. You've got a couple of kids to do something horrible to themselves. And I'm sure in the moments where you saw the media that had been delivered by your victims before you sent it into that group, there was a moment where you were like, whoa. bet that whoa moment disappeared once all that admiration started pouring in. Right? Now, take away all the horrible stuff, right? Take away all the horrible stuff. And then imagine it's your hobby, right? You like to paint models. You like to go fishing, right? You like to play frisbee golf, right? How much more of your hobby are you going to get cracking on with, right? All of your friends are like, great job. And you're like, whoa, I've been accepted. That is the fundamental basics of this collective community grooming. Okay. This, if enough people are shouting a lie at the top of their voice, most of the new people coming in are going to believe that. Even if that lie is, don't worry about what you're doing to these kids. It's mental. It really, really is. Anyway, let's carry on. He told the group he planned to unalive. Okay, we read that part. An immense threat. This is. We're going to get on to a full story about 764 after this, right? Because it's kind of like anything, you know, if you were really into a sport. Here's a prime example. Like, I used to be a huge fan of the UFC. And then I stopped watching the UFC for about a year and then started watching it again. And I was like, who the hell are all these people? where are all the fighters gone? Right? It's kind of like I stepped away from doing so many online investigations for a while. And to find out about this network, it's like the Ninth Room all over again. The 764 network was founded in 2020 by a US teenager, Bradley Cadenhead, who was 15. 15! It is believed to be named after a partial postcode of his hometown in Texas. Police say it is part of a loose international network of far-right extremist groups that have adopted what officers call militant accelerationist ideology. Sound. Those who have researched the group say they seek to destroy modern civilized society by committing depraved acts of violence and, you know, sex exploitation, often involving children. Cadenhead was arrested in 2021 and is now serving an 80-year prison sentence. I bet though, if he'd actually went and touched a bunch of kids in real life, 12 years. 12 years. In Texas for the creation of videos in which children were not only being abused, but also choked, beaten, suffocated, and seriously injured. Wow. This is straight up Ninth Room stuff, man. The network uses Nazi and not cool imagery. Finnegan, who went by the online username Acid, adorned his bedroom in West Sussex with swastikas and pentagrams. In one online post, he wrote, "Acid is Adolf's child." Cheeky little pot noodle there. Just wild, man. Last year, the FBI released an unprecedented warning about 764. 15-year-old, just keep in that mind, just keep that in the back of your mind. 15-year-old started this. And what was the biggest hurt core conglomerate of child abuse that has ever seen, that was ever seen up until that point, was Hurt to the Core. 19-year-old from Australia. Like, Jesus Christ, can we just get some teenage, can we just get some, they just need girlfriends and a bit of a purpose. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, we want to make the public aware of 764. It said Detective Chief Finlay, the threat that they pose, not just within the United Kingdom, but globally, is immense. It is not known how Finnegan became involved in the group. The BBC, I'm sorry. Cameron Finnegan pleaded guilty, right? These are two different people, man. Finnegan, who went by the online name username Acid. Okay, so this is hit. Okay, this isn't the 15-year-old. This is a 19-year-old. Last year, the FBI released an unprecedented warning. No British police have issued their own warning. We want to make the public aware of 764. So, just so you know, everyone, this is your official warning for Britain. The threat that they pose, not just within the United Kingdom but globally, is immense. It is not known how Finnegan became involved in the group, but the BBC spokesman, one person who knew him well, they told us that his behavior had changed when he became involved with other extremists online. They shared all the horrible, awful stuff between each other. That's when he went from being a caring and loving to manipulative and toxic and controlling, sadistic. They said, wow, from caring and loving, and this is his friends. So maybe he wasn't an incel, right? Maybe he was, right? And that's what led him to the extremism. I don't know. Mad. Controlling sadistic. He never showed any guilt. He would actually boast about it with friends as if he enjoyed the suffering and found it entertaining. It was disgusting and completely inhumane. So here's another thing. We have this whole no news is good news, bad press is good press, but we also have this. People can get a rise out of your reaction, right? And if you're part of something that you and your friends are badass enough to handle, right? We can handle what we're seeing, man. And everyone else around you recoils. It's going to make you feeling even better, right? Keep in mind, you've already got those multiple layers of detachment because it's digital media. You've also got those layers of protection because of the admiration that you're getting for this. And now you're seeing this physical effect that you are somehow more capable of dealing with this than others. Some empowering stuff, right? Psychology is wild, man. Nightmare-inducing stuff. Oh. Becca Spinks of the UK-based internet investigator who has studied the group. They will try to coerce and persuade young, vulnerable people to self-harm, take razor blades and carve their abusers' names into their body. We actually reported on this on a whole. We infiltrated a bunch of Discords a few years ago that were doing this, and the stuff on those Discords was wild. It was wild. Miss Spinks identified Finnegan as a 764 member before he was arrested. He then contacted her in messages seen in the BBC. He threatened to R and kill her. I very quickly realized that I had kicked a really nasty hornet's nest, Spinks told us. The FBI told me that this group was very violent and very dangerous. It's horrific, nightmare-inducing stuff. Arrests related to 764 have been made for child abuse, kidnapping, unaliving, and in at least 8 countries. Started by a 15-year-old. You know what's nuts, man, right? Do you know how many weird basement clubs all this crap took place in before the internet? 8 countries. When was it started? So he was arrested in 2021 and it was founded in 2020, right? And we have now got it across 8 countries. kidnapping, unaliving. Last year, Vincent Sharjit from the Gateshead, then 17, was jailed for wow. Last year, Vincent Charleston from Gateshead, then 17, was jailed for disseminating terror publications, possessing documents useful to a terror group, and making and possessing indecent images of children. The BBC has found online that 764 is still active worldwide and has seen messages where groups members boast about their exploits, sharing photos and videos of their victims. Typically, the group will seek out vulnerable young girls on social media, often in communities dedicated to self-harm or mental health. They communicate with them on messaging platforms such as Discord and Telegram, often sending them explicit child abuse material. The spokesman for Discord told us that it had reported Finnegan to the authorities in the US and added that the platform was committed to addressing harmful content. Jenna, not her real name, from Australia, was 15 when she was first targeted by 764. For more than 2 years, she was threatened by members of the group. It was horrible, says Jenna's mother, who spoke to us. And do you know what? This is going to sound really messed up, right? I'll put money on it. I know. I like. There's a guy, right? There's a guy on the dark web. And he's a very notorious man. Okay, a very notorious man. He's a very famous blackmailer, and he has no problem blackmailing you till you unalive yourself. Like, no problem at all, right? And he was part of a group. He wasn't part of a group, right? He was. Imagine like a nomadic terrorist with such a reputation. He drifts between other groups, right? And when I released Her Hope Dies Here, a group called Doxbin, who were, I think, third on the FBI's most wanted list for cyber terrorism, they reached out to me about doing a documentary on them, and sent me a bunch of their. It was all about swatting, right? It was all about swatting and hacking of government CCTV and road signs and public radio networks. Like, they sent me videos of entire streets being shut down in Russia, whilst they played crazy music over the radio. I mean, they're mad, right? They're a very interesting group. But they spoke of a guy. They told me about a guy who was one of the original founders. And he was also the guy that started up one of the blackmail sites. And I swear to God, this reeks of him. It reeks of him. Not necessarily, he's behind it all. But something like this, a ball that's already in motion that you can jump on, is much better than starting to make your own ball roll. It really, really is. Bev's off this evening. She's got a family event tonight. And our wonderful big homie, I do believe, is out and about doing stuff. He said he would try and make it in this evening, but if he doesn't make it, it's okay. It can be a Ron episode, okay? It can be a Ron episode because Ron's lecturing you all. That's what's happening. So it was horrible, says Jenna's mother, who spoke to us anonymously. We have unalive manuals that they sent to her. The group also sent Jenna images of child and animal abuse and coerced her into sharing implicit pictures of herself and harming herself on camera. Jenna's mother also told us that the group had got her daughter to manipulate her, to mutilate herself more and more often, deeper, worse. Oh man, she's covered in scars. Eventually, the abusers ordered Jenna to unalive her family cat, and she refused to comply. They wanted her to do that on a live stream. It'll blow up from there. Wait. They wanted her to do that on a live stream. It all blew up from there. When she refused to do that, I think they realized that they were losing control of her, said the mother. In revenge, 764 members made fake police reports claiming that Jenna's father had a pew-pew, a common tactic known as swatting. Armed Australian police came to the house. What did I just say? Terrifying the family. I'm telling you, man, this is so weird. Like how this is so the MO. Some of Jenna's abusers have now been arrested and are serving prison sentences in the United States, but others are still at large. While she has mostly managed to cut ties, Jenna continues to receive threatening messages. Her mother is still trying to get the explicit images removed from social media sites. So this is what I'm saying. So there will be a massive database somewhere where every single victim of this group is collated, so that when the abusers who are the original abusers go to jail, the whole thing is just picked up again. This is just all picked up again. The next one comes along. Next one comes along. And the next one comes along super excited, right? He's like, woo! Let's get blackmailing, baby. You know what I mean? I spent months being able to see that these people are able to access the worst things that you could imagine of your child, and just screaming into the void like no one's listening. No one's taking this stuff down. And how is it still up? And it's not just my child, it's so many. Jenna is still traumatized by her experiences with the group. Be really careful to who you're talking to, she says. And if it happens to you, talk to someone about it. If you've ever been affected by the issues raised in this article, you can find, Google help. Don't go to the BBC for help. That's what I would suggest. 15 and 19. Mad. Right. And that leads us to this little number. So this is the Wired report that's going to give us a much more detailed overview of 764. And then we're gonna leave it there. Take it easy, GC. Take it easy. Because this is grim. All right. There are dark corners of the internet. Then there's 76th floor. A global network of violent predators is hiding in plain sight, targeting children on major platforms, grooming them and extorting them to commit horrific acts of abuse. Super fun. Wired collaborated with Der Spiegel, Recorder, and the Washington Post on this report. Each wrote separate stories that the news organizations agreed to publish in tandem. This story contains descriptions of abuse, self-harm, unaliving, self-unaliving. Reader discretion is advised. It sounds like a cheap true crime conspiracy. An international network of predators steeped in Satanism to lure... Hang on a second. There's some words here that it sounds like it's okay. To lure children in from seemingly harmless online platforms like Discord, Minecraft, and Roblox, and extort them into exploit and grievously harm themselves. Some victims are even pushed to unaliving themselves. Wired has unearthed a sprawling ecosystem that has targeted thousands of people and victimized dozens, if not hundreds, of children using some of the internet's biggest platforms. Law enforcement believes the COM network encompasses a swath of interlocking groups with thousands of users, including hundreds of hardcore members who victimize children through coordinated online campaigns of extortion, doxing, swatting, and harassment. You need to give me a minute, everybody. I need to tie up my hair. I'm slowly cooking here. Minecraft. My kids are obsessed. Well, I'm sad to say. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kids have got to be able to do something. You know what I mean? When it comes to Minecraft, just get them on a private server with their friends. That's all they need. Like that, they'll be fine then. 1 second. But I'm not going to lie to you, abundantly empowered. There's an ongoing joke on YouTube. You know, if you're a YouTube Minecraft creator, then your girlfriend's probably 11, right? That is how bad it is. It's real bad. In fact, we'll maybe do a real fun episode during the summer holidays, all about your children's favorite games, their creators on YouTube, and how many of them are in jail. Okay, fun. Let's get back to traumatizing the public. Law enforcement believes that the ComNet, okay, we know that, victimizes children. Okay, we know that too. This reporting consortium has obtained and analyzed more than 3 million messages from more than 50 chat groups on Discord and Telegram. These messages explored multiple COM subgroups and thousands of users in nearly a dozen countries and 3 continents. Our investigations have found ample evidence of predatory conduct, and a persistent, precise across apps, including Telegram and Discord, while Wired also found COM activity on Instagram, SoundCloud, and Roblox. The platforms are aware of these groups, but they have yet to successfully eradicate them. The abuse perpetrated, listen, can we cut the crap here? Let's go back 50 years, right? No internet, and all the predators are out in the real world, okay? We've not quite caught up to the fact that the new world is the online world, okay? And our kids are out there walking around alone. How often do you send your kids out to walk about alone? How often do you leave your kids alone at a house party for people your age and just leave them there? You wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't do it, right? You wouldn't do it. So it's the same with the internet, and people just haven't, the clicking isn't happening. The abuse perpetrated by members of the COM groups is extreme. They have coerced children into abuse and self-harm, causing them to deeply lacerate their bodies and carve cut signs of an abuser's online alias into their skin. Victims have flushed their heads in toilets, attacked their siblings, unalived their pets, and in some extreme instances, attempted or unalived themselves. Court records from the United States and European nations reveal that participants in this network have also been accused of robberies, in-person attempted R-ings of minors, kidnappings, weapons violations, swattings, and unalivings. Some members of the network extort children for some members of the network extort children for their own gratification, some for power and control, some do it merely for the kick that comes from manipulation, others sell the explicit CSAM content produced by the extortion on the dark web. Their main aim is to traumatize you, says Anna, a young woman groomed and victimized by 764, one of the most notorious groups under the COM umbrella. They want you to make you suffer and for you to take your own life. They really are very sadistic people. The non-profit National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received hundreds of reports of minors extorted into hurting themselves in 2023, says MC MEX Cyber Tipline Director Fallon McNulty. A sharp rise over the previous year, the organization, which routes reports from social media companies into the public and law enforcement, still receives dozens of calls each month, he says. From 2022 into last year, especially, the scale of what's coming through seems like it's continuing to grow, McNulty says. Added that in 2022, NCMEC only saw a handful of such extortion reports. The online group says that they are responsible for some of the most egregious online enticement reports that we're seeing in terms of what these children are being coerced to do. The FBI issued a formal warning about the broader COM network in September 2023, but did not answer specific questions regarding its investigations into the COM 764 extortion network. Since mid 2021, investigators have launched criminal cases against more than a dozen people linked to the COM groups in the United States, Great Britain, Germany, Romania, and Brazil. The U.S. Departments of Justice pursuing further charges through federal grand jury proceedings. The COM network is also connected to the nihilist Eastern European skinhead crew, whose members are accused of a series of random attacks and unaliving in the Ukraine and Russia. That's wild. U.S. prosecutors have cited Telegram and Discord as the primary means in which members of the 764 operate. The group used these platforms to desensitize vulnerable populations through sharing extreme gore and child abuse material. Prosecutors wrote in a criminal case against Kalana Limpkin, an alleged 764 member charged in Hawaii with the distribution. I mean, it just goes on and on. Please like and share. Please like and share. Also, as well, excuse me, I'm drinking really, really fizzy. Excuse me. CA and calls to. Okay, so abuse of any kind and calls for violence are especially forbidden by Telegram's terms of service. Oh no. Oh, I'm sure they're worried about the Telegram police, says Telegram spokesperson. Telegram has been moderated harmful content. Telegram has moderated harmful content on our platform since its creation. As of this writing, dozens of Telegram channels are being used by the extortion network remain active. Discord says it's worked to shut down COM activities on its platform for more than 2 years. A spokesperson for Discord, who is asked not to be named for their own safety, says dismantling the group is a top priority, highlighting the company's close working relationship with the FBI and the other law enforcement in 2023 alone. The company says Discord blocked 130 groups and 34,000 accounts linked to 764. Instagram accounts have been linked to extortion networks are still active, despite parent company Meta implying bans on COM and 764 related accounts. SoundCloud hosted self-abuse and sadism related playlists, which remain online as of this writing. We strictly prohibit any content that includes or suggests child abuse or grooming on our platform that uses a combination of human moderation and technological tools to identify and remove infringing content, a SoundCloud spokesman said. Do you though, SoundCloud? SoundCloud. Mental. A Roblox user created skins for 764 themed characters with the group's insignia and open references to CSAM were abundantly available. Roblox spokesperson Julian Chatlin Lecroix tells Wired, the company is aware of the COM network, also proactively to find and ban such content, and is on a constant conversation with law enforcement and other platforms. We take the safety of our users incredibly seriously, especially given our users include young children. Minecraft, where 764 platforms are known to be active, has a variety of systems for removing harmful content from its official servers, including chat filtering, in-game reporting, parental controls, and has dedicated teams for review and moderation, according to a spokesperson for Microsoft, which owns Minecraft's development studio. On a private servers that are unmanaged by Minecraft, we will take action to investigate and report violations and apply enforcement mechanisms as needed. Network Mechwards, however, shown enough technical proficiency to evade whatever measures platforms take to ban them. This is the thing, right? We're talking about the creation of. Do you know what it is? It's the opposite of what we've done here. They've created a movement. They've created the 764 movement, right? And it's going to keep snowballing. And it's going to keep snowballing. And in the same way as we have our movement, this is their movement. Yeah, I do remember Luke Mitchell. We need to reinvestigate that as well. His poor mother, by the way. An absolute heartbreaking story. It really is. All right. Give me 1 second, everyone. All right. The FBI and other foreign law enforcement agencies are investigating 764 for both CSAM offenses and other terrorism because of its connection to the Order of Nine Angels, a once obscure Satanist cult from Great Britain that has become an ever-present in online edgelord and militant neo-Nazi circles over the past decade. That was a lot in that sentence. Swastikas and Nazi memes and accelerationist propaganda glorifying homicidal members of white supremacist groups like Atomwaffen Division Supremacy appear in the extortion group's Telegram channels. While many users appear unfamiliar with the O9A dogma, the sex symbols, texts, and aesthetics have been widely co-opted within the groups for shock value. The practice urging its victims to injure themselves with cut signs also bears a striking resemblance to O9A rituals. Man, this is a lot. O9A being the Order of Nine Angels. Law enforcement officials, with the knowledge of with knowledge of the investigation at 764 and COM, speaking on the conditions of anonymity, notes the association with COM has drastically increased on O9A's visibility. There is a far larger pool of recruits and people interested in child horrible things and PDF files than an obscure Satanist sect, they say. In a way, it's genius. We're getting there, everyone. Please like and share. The perpetrators of the COMS and 764 abuse have for years operated behind the masks and usernames and profile pictures. A detailed look into the leadership core members of this community reveal that for the first time, crucial details about the steps leading to the systematically victimizing children, how the predation network functions, and how they have continued to evade ban attempts by popular platforms and persist despite ongoing criminal investigations, and how they can continue to spread malicious ethos worldwide. According to the interviews with the victims' law enforcement sources, source record 764 begins with Bradley Cadenhead, a teenager from Dallas, ex-suburb of Stevensville, Texas. Cadenhead's problematic behavior started early, from watching online porn at age 8, developing into a fascination with violent torture pictures and videos as well as gore, according to court records. That's why you have the Google Family app on your shizness for your 8-year-old. Written statements from other children reveal that Cadenhead posted extensively on social media about violence. Cadenhead was placed in juvenile probation for discussing shooting up a middle school when he was 13. The next year, he was briefly sent to juvenile detention facility for violating terms of his parole and routinely watched ultra-violent gore content online. Listen, I know you're hearing a lot of words, but that is the worst of the worst. Ultra-violent gore content. I mean, that's like that's the cartel chainsaw video. I mean, I remember years ago, I done a YouTube video called Watching the Cartel Hit Videos So You Don't Have to. And like Ron can't do it. Like Ron shot that whole video like this. Right? It was, and the sound was off. Right? It was awful. But I tell you what, man, the maddest thing I ever seen, right, was a cartel video. And I don't even want to talk about it. It was mad. Anyway, it was mad. Never underestimate, right, just how weak your body is at the elbow and the knee. If you've got a cut that goes right the way around that joint to the bone, before you know it, someone's beating you with the lower part of your leg. That's all I'm saying. It's wild. And it's all out there. You know, the cartels are very, very proud of the stuff they put out. I remember watching a video of 3 girls sat in their kitchen filming themselves reacting to watching one of these videos. And it, you know, I'd never witnessed trauma being set into a human live before. And I mean, one of these girls is just, it was, don't do it. It's horrible. It's horrible. I can't handle it. And like I say, it's just insane. The level. I mean, I remember when I done the Red Room documentary and I reported on r/dead, r/unalive years. I mean, there were so many gore groups. There were so many gore websites. All of them disappeared within a year of that documentary coming out. All of them. You know. Right, anyway. Probation records show that Caden Henn, while under court supervision, largely refused to participate in counseling sessions, repeatedly left home without permission, assaulted his mother, and ingested dangerous amounts of Tylenol and cough syrup, requiring him to be briefly hospitalized. Caden Henn's online activities also went unrestricted. Whilst playing Minecraft, he met other users who deepened his interest in gore. He told probation officers research provided by Discord's security team indicated that Caden Henn learned to groom children on an extortion server called CVLT. Caden Henn then started a Discord server called 764 after the first 3 digits of his Stevenson zip code. Caden Henn and dozens of others would use 764 Discord server and Telegram to distribute CSAM and seek out vulnerable children to victimize. Using the handles of Felix and Brad764, Caden Henn moderated the server, which he received hundreds of videos and photographs of extreme violence, animal torture, CSAM, some of which Caden Henn uploaded himself. How-to guides on exploitation and extorting minors online were circulated in his channels. The server repeatedly evaded bans from Discord, in which its first identified 764 and its hundreds of users in January 21 and reported it to law enforcement. Beginning of June 2021, the Discord flagged Caden Henn's online conduct 58 times. His Discord was flagged 58 times by Discord for sharing images of prepubescent females and males engaged in SA or various poses nude. The complaints referred 58. That I mean that would literally be like you getting 58 warnings for putting CSAM material up on your office wall. All right. Include a number of Cadenhead's Discord usernames and the internet protocol address located in Stevensville, Texas. According to a Discord spokesperson, Cadenhead used 58 distinct accounts in each of the reported incidents. Okay. So it's 58. Okay, I get what you're saying. Oh, wow. So here's some of the Roblox. I love. You can see that there, and then you've got the. And this is in Roblox. That is wild. It is wild, right? 1 second, everybody. All right. Late that August, officers from Stevensville police seized the Cadenhead cell phone. Law enforcement would later find a cache of more than 20 files of CSAM, as well as some photographs featuring wow. As well as photographs featuring Brad is a PDF and 764 carved into the flesh of an unknown person. I've never seen any individual get as many complaints against him as Bradley, says Captain Jeremy Lanier of Stephenville Police Department, who helped conduct forensic analysis of Cadenhead's devices. This wasn't the run-of-a-mill child prawn. This was a lot darker. There was one video of a woman being held down and stabbed. This case was awful. It was the worst stuff I'd ever looked at in 6 years of working CSAM. Cadenhead and other members of his server would lure young women into video chats to extort them into cutting themselves, performing live sex acts, or harming themselves. Eve, a teenage girl from the Midwest, was victimized in this manner prior to 2021 in spring when she was a young teenager. In an interview, Eve's mother recounted her daughter being drawn into the exploitation network through gore servers on Discord, where children would watch ultra-violent content. What 764 would do is they would go in and drop the videos in these groups and then start pulling kids out of there to their servers. As she says, the moderator of 764 server, who went by Brad, one of the aliases connected to Cadenhead, groomed her daughter through false shows of affection and coercing her to send nude photographs of herself. Once they established a degree of trust, Cadenhead and his extorters threatened to harm Eve's elementary school, her elementary school-aged brother, or release her explicit photographs on video calls. They would urge her to unalive herself and convince her to carve their usernames into her skin. They pressured her to strangle her cat and to even behead her pet hamster on camera. Bite the head off, or I'll F your whole family up, a user named Felix told Eve on a video. During the police investigation, Felix was an alias associated with an IP address linked to Cadenhead. Eve did all this inside her bedroom closet. Things took a turn from the worst when Eve deeply cut herself one night in the bath to turn the water red, like one of her extorters had requested. They also swatted the family house and began calling her school, telling her principal she tried to unalive animals, prompting the school officials to file a report with local police. You just don't realize how quickly it can happen, Eve's mother says. According to her mother, the FBI did not reach out to Eve until December 2023. The Stevensville Police Department was not aware of Eve's victimization by Camden Head and was not charged with her abuse. According to Lanier, the FBI only asked him for the contents of Camden Head's devices in November 2023, 2 years after his arrest. Eve's mother said the FBI agents contacted her the following month and asked her for more details about her daughter's abuse. The agents did not say why they were inquiring about Eve's ordeal, and she learned from this reporting consortium that her daughter's abusers had been arrested. Wow. The FBI would not comment on the response to the questions about Eve's abuse. Even the agency became aware of Camden Head and the broader 764 network and various perpetrators identified in this article. That's wild. So they just kept it all to themselves. I don't know, Joseph. Well, here's the thing, Joseph, right? These people are everybody, you know? You know, there's probably at least one or two people that are watching this show that are minded like this. You know? When something is started, 5 years ago, and has spread to this level, it shows you that it has a massive backing and following. It's not like they're having to twist the arms of people to come and join this. An interview Kahneman gave with his probation service confirmed the general details of his story. Bradley did admit to the group's use of a server to do extortion of individuals. The report read, they would do this for money and sometimes just for power over the individuals. Camden Head admitted urging users in his server to carve his initials into their bodies as a form of homage, describing his server as a cult, and said that many of his participants venerated him as a cult leader. Last spring, wait a minute. Camden Head. Hang on a minute. Right. Jesus. Wait till you see this guy. Pleaded guilty and he was sentenced to 80 years in prison. Now 18 years old, he is currently incarcerated in Eastdale State Prison in Huntsville, one of Texas's highest security correctional facilities. Camden Head and his parents did not respond to the multiple requests for comments, though a family attorney indicated they may appeal his conviction. 80 years. I mean, that's a good sentence. That's a fatty. The FBI interest in 764 appears to have begun with a core member of Camden Head's server who went by Duck or Gore Butcher. Victims described him as an aggressive, sadistic, and I don't know what that word is. Cliquish. Cliche? I don't know. Refusing to interact with underage girl he deemed unattractive and running an invite-only chat dedicated to the Order of Nine Angels. He didn't like me because I wasn't pretty enough. He made that very clear, says Sophia, a young Canadian woman victim of 764 for years. Gore Butcher allegedly is Angel Louise Gore Butcher allegedly is Angel Louise Almeida, a high school dropout from Ocala, Florida, with a violent past and a long rap sheet. By 19, Almeida had racked up several arrests in Central Florida town, accused of car theft, domestic assault, vehicle burglaries, and armed robberies. He served time in 2019 for stealing several cars. At some point after his release in March 2020, Almeida moved to his relative's apartment in Queens, New York. His social media posts on Instagram and Facebook that era show a young man with firearms, substances, threats of violence, the Order of the Nine Angels, a child horrible network. In several posts, he poses shirtless with a friend while toting a shotgun, wears a skull mask balaclava associated with murderous neo-Nazi groups, and brandishes a pew-pew on camera while smoking what appears to be narcotics in a glass pipe. Really cool guys, right? Like, yeah, Lisa, IG, hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, mate. Yes, but that's for another day, Lisa. But man, what a mess that case is. But yes, Lisa, we'll get to that another day. At some point after his release in March 2020, Almeida moved to his relative's apartment in Queens, New York. His social media posts on Instagram and Facebook from that era show a young man. Oh, we've already done that. Balaclava glass pipe. In late February 2021, according to the court records, Almeida posted a photograph of a bound gag and half-dressed young girl with the captions, "Life always been SHIT, still I see the past through rose-colored lenses." Almeida's online activity grew alarming enough that a warning about his contact made its way to the FBI in September 21. According to the FBI records, a tipster warned the Bureau that Almeida had allegedly posted pictures of children in bondage wear, threatened to kill other users, and had met up with a 16-year-old in person and was potentially targeting other minors for doing horrible things. In October 2021, as 764's notoriety grew online following Camden Head's arrest, the FBI received another tip about Almeida's prior criminal conduct and alleged possession of firearms. He constantly posts animal abuse material and has even posted images of himself having abused an animal by chopping it in half. He is extremely dangerous. He openly admits to what he admits what he wants to do to children, posts his substance use online, and even posts underage abuse material. The fall, the feds allege Almeida posted images on Instagram of himself posing with a pew-pew next to a flag of Temple of Blood, an American offshoot of Angels of the Night, 09A, run by longtime FBI informant. Wait a minute. An American offshoot of 090, run by longtime FBI informant Joshua Kalib Sutter, and a photo of himself in front of a Nazi flag on a computer screen reading, "I'm addicted to hardcore child material," while wearing a shirt embossed. Oh man, wearing a t-shirt that says "Kiddie Fiddler." Telegram post recovered by. Where would you even get a t-shirt like that? Right? Like, where would you even buy that? And I'll tell you something else. If you ain't buying it, where are you making that? That is going to be some home print iron-on stuff. I'm telling you that now. That is a home print iron-on t-shirt home project. That's some arts and crafts that has gone on there. Because I'm telling you now, you find me the shop that sells the t-shirt that says "Kiddie Fiddler," and we'll do a little day trip down there. Oh, hang on. Okay, right. So I've just realized the time, everybody. So I'm going to read this next couple of paragraphs. We're going to have a little chat, and then we're going to have to do a part 2 on this because I have a very upset little girl in the next room who I need to go and make sure she's okay because I have a very tired missus, and we're halfway through this. Like, we've still got a lot to go. Let me just see where the next good bit to stop would be. Come in, babe. I've just seen your messages, sweetheart. Come in. Hello? Hang on a second, everybody. All right, everyone. So let me just get to a point where we can stop on this and we'll pick this up. Because I want to get through all this, but we may have to do a part 2 on it. So Instagram posing with a hanging on a film of blood. Apparent possession of a pew pew. Okay. Almeida's apparent possession of a pew pew was enough to substantiate an initial federal criminal charge against him, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms took him into custody following a November 2021 raid on the Queen's apartment. A 9mm pew pew, ammunition, and a skull mask balaclava, 4 electronic devices, and an Order of the Nine Angels blood pact were seized from Almeida's room. Do you get the level of organization here? It's crazy. Investigators say his devices held hundreds of thousands of digital files, including reams of CSAM and communications with other members of 764. This is the first public documentation of the FBI's glimpse into the child horrible thing network Camden Head had founded. Despite the Discord report about the group to the Bureau in 2021. Digital forensics of Almeida's online traces show he groomed multiple minors, victims of who he solicited CSAM and who he encouraged to engage in SA, according to an October 23 court filing superseding charges of CA, coercion, and CSAM position. This is not a nice guy. The feds alleged that using Facebook and Instagram, Almeida groomed an underage girl between July and December 2021, sending her images of himself and convincing her to produce images of herself. His digital trace in the feds claim also shows Almeida doing this to another minor from February 2020 through November 2021 over cell phone messages and in person. He allegedly convinced the second girl to produce horrible content of herself, engaging in horrible acts with him, and worse, the defendant held Jane Doe 2 at gunpoint while posing her for a photograph, and he convinced Jane Doe 2 to cut her neck and allow the defendant to drink her blood. The defendant instructed Jane Doe 2 to study 764 doctrine and distribute child abuse to other people. Wow. Yeah, I think we're going to have to leave it there for tonight, everyone. I'm so sorry that we've had to make this a 2-parter. But just outrageous. It's just outrageous. The organization, the amalgamation of other groups, the widespread attraction that this has to so many twisted individuals. Now, if you've got nothing else to do, make sure you go and check out the website. You'll be able to come and join us. Yeah, I agree, Lisa. I agree. It's wild. It's wild. What that woman has gone through, the mother, is unreal. A pew pew is what we have to refer to as a GUN on YouTube. So pew pews, you know. So listen, thanks everyone for being here. Website's down below. You want to support me, links are in the description. Join the movement, bear the symbol, be part of it all. And I just want to thank you everyone for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow. You're all awesome. Thank you for being here. Like and subscribe. And yeah, you guys are all awesome. Thank you for being here. Peace.